Commentary from Ibrox as we round off the Premiership for this weekend. Rangers against Aberdeen. Your commentary comes with Willie Miller, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Good afternoon. A huge afternoon for Aberdeen perhaps in particular, but for Rangers the ignominy of going 7 home matches without victories, unprecedented. Indeed, they haven't won at all in their last 6 since beating Dundee 4-3 at Dens. They hadn't gone 6 without a win since going 10 without one in 05-06 under Alec McLeish. But it is a record 7 games here without victory since beating Ross County 4-0 3 months ago. They've drawn 2, lost 5, scored just twice, conceded 10. Aberdeen suffered their first defeat in 9 last weekend in Paisley, meaning it is 2 defeats in 13. The ship very much steadied, but they are looking now at a massive fortnight, not even that now. 3 games in 6 days, followed by the Scottish Cup final. It doesn't get much bigger than that for the Dons. The 2 captains down there, Graham Shinney and James Tavernier, with the referee David Dickinson. Tavernier has a better goal-scoring record against Aberdeen than anyone else in his career. Cyril Dessers scored against Motherwell, he scored against Celtic last week, but that's been it in front of goal for the Rangers supporters inside their own stadium. It's a remarkable record as these 2 go head-to-head for the last time this season. It's a win apiece and a draw in the games between them so far. Aberdeen winning the first one at Pittodrie. Rangers cantered to a 3-0 win here in January, and that 2-2 draw a month ago back in the northeast. Rangers are going to kick off. They're going to shoot from right to left as we watch from the main stand up above. Jimmy Tilleen's away dugout, shooting towards the Broomloan Road end. Aberdeen all in red with white flashes will shoot towards the Copeland Road end. And Raskin touches the ball back to John Souttar, who'll turn it to his left. And Leon Balogun, who continues to wear that face mask after the injury sustained in Bilbao in the Europa League. Rangers come forward immediately here with Czerny at the edge of the box. Tries to knock it through to Dessers, but it comes through to Mitov, and already Aberdeen have a problem because Christos Taubers, who's been out for the last 2 months, has gone down awkwardly, Willie Miller, and this might be an early concern for the Aberdeen manager, given Alfie Dorrington called off sick, though he's back to his feet now.
I'm sure it was. You know, the last thing you need is to have a defensive issue. You bring in a player that's been out for such a long time, then he goes down very early, awkwardly. But he's up, he looks okay still. Kind of a little bit concerned with his back there. It looked as though he twisted something as he fell to the ground. But
he landed heavily though.
Yeah, he's moving okay though.
Yeah.
Mitov has it, long ball forward, game on. Tober seems to be okay as the flick header comes out to Jeffday. Tries to turn away from McGrath, and then Raskin in field to the former Don Barron. It's the boos from the away support over on the far side. It is Tavernier on the right, forward to Czerny, back to Diamonde, and on to Tavernier on the halfway line. And he goes back to Souttar, and then to James Tavernier. Rangers will look to settle quickly. I have to say there's plenty empty seats in the home sections today.
Yeah, I was surprised, Liam, I noticed that myself.
Souttar, who picks up difficult for them, are supposed to get up for it. I suppose their season in their heads ended after the Celtic game last week. 3 league games to negotiate before the campaign is over, well and truly. As Tavernier picks up in the centre circle, looks to knock it forward to Bayrami. Taubers gets in the way and knocks it out for a Rangers throw-in on this near side, and Jeff Day is going to take.
Rangers have set up the same way as they did last week with the diamond in midfield, with Bayrami at the point, at the top, and Barron the deepest one, and kind of Dessers up on his own with Czerny just floating about. It seemed to work last week, although Celtic's fullbacks in the gate for me didn't get forward enough. That's where the space is in this system, so I'm interested to see if Aberdeen can exploit that.
Rangers finish with Dundee United here on Wednesday, and a trip to Easter Road next Saturday. Aberdeen have got Celtic at Pittodrie on Wednesday, and then it's Tannadice next weekend, and they'll be hoping that third place is still alive come then. And Shinney picks up a throw-in for the Dons, bowls it back to Canuster. Turn goes back to Mitov. Dessers and Czerny putting the pressure on. Mitov clears high into the Rangers half. Souttar wins the header, nods it forward. Bayrami with the flick, breaks to Canuster though. Now Dante Polvara gets between Bayrami and the ball and goes down and wins Aberdeen a free kick. And a few Aberdeen players today, Willie, playing or starting for the first time for a while. McGrath was on the ball just now, first start since the 2nd of January. Polvara's first league start of the season. Tobers has been out for a couple of months.
Yeah, you know, it's a big test for them, absolutely, but you know, they're all very decent players, so they should be able to cope with it. I think the important thing in the early stages of any game down here is to try and get a feel of the ball, try to, you know, get yourself into the game, not be too overwhelmed by the opposition. Rangers have had the bulk of the possession, not really tested Aberdeen's back four as yet, but at the same time you would think the Dons would want to get a little feel of the ball, you know, gradually just kind of grow into the game. They haven't done much about that. They just seem to be pretty set in their formation and happy to allow Rangers plenty of possession.
It can be daunting coming here at times, but I suppose if you're the away team and you see so many empty seats, then that's going to aid your cause potentially. Canuster gets there ahead of Czerny. Now it's Polvara who's tripped to the ground by Dessers, and Aberdeen have a free kick midway inside their own half.
Only 4 minutes in, there's been about 6 already, just wee cheap fouls, very kind of stop-start.
David Dickinson in charge today. It is Tobers on the ball. He rolls it out to Leighton Clarkson over on the left, scored that fine free kick which gave Aberdeen the lead in the most recent meeting. And then McGrath, who scored here in the 3-1 win last season, moves it back to Canuster. Long ball with the left foot. Tabag with the touch there, but goes straight back into Rangers possession, and it's Raskin in the centre circle. Chip ball out to Czerny, he's in space. Shinnie caught out of position momentarily, trying to bite back at Czerny. He gets it to the byline, pulls it across, but Canuster gets in the way. Czerny's ended up in the advertising hoarding in behind the byline there as Aberdeen look to counter with Jeppe Ockels driving down the left. Shows too much of it to Suter, but he's actually put it out for a corner, I think, over on the far side is the big Rangers defender. The first corner on 5 minutes goes Aberdeen's way, 0-0.
So important, Liam, you know, that ball carrier. They've got two, they've got Ockels, who at times has shown it, not as much as Keskinen, but Keskinen on the other side as well, because when you're under pressure there, and I thought that Graham Shinnie did get himself pulled out of position, but he managed to recover well. And then you've got Ockels picking the ball up basically, 30 yards from his own goal and actually winning a corner. So important that you've got that type of ball carrier in these types of games.
Leighton Clarkson over the corner over on the far side. A group of players in about the penalty spot. McGrath's on the 18-yard line. Rangers have everyone bar Czerny back in and around their box. Clarkson sends it into the area. It's too high for Canuster. Tabag with a touch. It's a poor one though, and allows Nadim Bayrami to win it back, but he's carried it out of play on this near side, and Aberdeen have a throw-in level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box.
Yeah, if Tabag had managed to take a slightly better touch there, it was a wee half chance at the back post, but his first touch was heavy.
It can be.
Right.
Any time I've watched him coming on, his first touch is not the best.
Yeah, he's a good reactive striker, having the 6-yard box, as the Dons saw in that Scottish Cup semi-final. He'd scored a late winner against Kilmarnock as well. That Pataudry in the league, during Aberdeen's renaissance, as he goes behind for a Rangers goal kick. Kelly short to Suter. He squares it to Balogun. We had a really fine afternoon against Celtic last week. He was unlucky not to be named man of the match, I felt, by the club here. It's Diamonde out to Tavernier in the Aberdeen half now, midway inside it, fires it forward, looking for Dessers. Tobers away, picked up by Barron, turns it out to Tavernier, and then back onto the halfway line for Suter, who finds Balogun left of the centre circle, out to the left touchline for Jefty. Keskinen for company. Back with Balogun. Poor ball from Balogun straight to Polvara. Now it's Keskinen. Flicks it back to Devlin. And now with Tobers, he goes back to his goalkeeper, Mitov, who's had those two lengthy spells out, relatively lengthy spells out with injury this season. Fires it out to Devlin. He can only push it forward straight to Jefty, but Rangers giving it away as well. Both teams guilty of that right now. Nobody's really settled, but here's Dessers for Jefty. Sweeps it infield to Bayrami, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Diamonde, heavy touch allows Tabag to pinch it back, and then Diamonde brings the Aberdeen number 11 to the ground, and that will be a Dons free kick. Both teams have been so sloppy in these opening 7.5 goalless minutes.
Yeah, it's been quite scrappy, hasn't it, Willie?
It has, yeah. You know, I mean, Tabag in particular. I don't know. I don't want to be one of these ones that spoils, you know, little flicks and little turns and that, but I don't see the point in it this early in the game. I think you've got to try and impose your, you know, yourself and your opponent, and you see there, I mean, Diamonde as well. I don't know what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, he tried a wee pirouette, didn't he? Didn't come off.
You know, you're just giving possession away.
Mitov inside his own box, launches it forward, and it's Jeffy meets it on the halfway line and heads it out to this near side, where Devlin is trying to see it out for the throw-in. Raskin's kept it in play though, and then he hauls the Aberdeen right back to the ground, and that will be a free kick to the Dons. There's a little bit from both of them there.
Untidy.
Could well have gone Rangers' way initially, but eventually Devlin was brought down.
Yeah, it was just a pull to the ground from Raskin, but yet another foul, yet another stop in the play. No flow to the game whatsoever.
Barron wins it back off Keskinen on the far side, or rather Ockels. Of course, Keskinen playing on the right, Ockels on the left. You feel Keskinen is, but he can play both sides. Better on the left though. There's a loose one from Jeffy. The bag's onto it in the centre circle now. It's with Clarkson. Forward he comes, the bag there, sliding in Balogun. McGrath looking to knock it forward to Keskinen. Goalkeeper comes and takes. Comes up from the thin for McGrath's attempt to find him in the area, but it's in the gloves of Liam Kelly, and it remains Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0 at Ibrox.
They're still swapping possession though, aren't they? You know, I don't think the play's been good enough. That they're trying to, you know, zip it around and keep possession, but invariably it's breaking down with not too much pressure putting the player that's giving the ball away.
Rangers in possession, Suter on the halfway line, rolls it out to Tavernier on the right, up the line for Diamonde. Good challenge by Shinnie as it comes now to Suter. Chip ball forward looking for Dessers. Canuster will get there first though. He knocks it out for a Rangers throw-in over on that far side, because Aberdeen surrendered a 2-0 lead against 10 men the last time these two met. Those second half goals from Igaman and Hadji after Clarkson and Gay looked at Aberdeen on easy street.
Certainly 2 points chucked away, wasn't it?
Oh, look how really important they could be now when you look at the league table.
Absolutely.
And you did suspect that at the time, that those 2 points tossed away would be costly. We'll find out in 6 days' time, of course, perhaps before then, depending on their results against the two Glasgow sides. Shinnie goes forward there to Dabag, who might get back onto this here, but the ref blows his whistle and it's a Rangers ball.
It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch, I have to say. There's so many giveaways, turnovers in possession, no real quality in the ball, not had a chance yet. It can only get better.
Oh, you say that? As, Suter rolls it forward, it's cut out, breaks to Dabag, now it's with Shinnie. He's got red options ahead of him. Shinnie rolls it in field to McGrath. Rangers funneling back here as McGrath rolls it out to Devlin on the right side. Midway inside Rangers territory, decides to go back the way to Polvara. It's a negative ball, and Tobers is under pressure here, and he's done well to nick it back off by Rami, and the Rangers fans all over Nadeem Bayrami there. So that's fired forward onto the knee of McGrath, who controls, plays it off Jeffy straight to Diamonde.
When Devlin received that ball, he had a one-on-one with Diamonde.
His first thought was to go back.
Take it and go and take it. You know, like, it does my head in watching fullbacks that receive the ball and they've got space in a 1v1 situation and they turn out and go back to a centre half.
Just wonder where his confidence is at, Nicky Devlin. He's a great first half of the season. As Tavernier crosses, looking for Dessers, too close to Mitov. Yeah, Devlin, he was out injured for a little spell, but he's had his place taken off him by Alexander Jensen, who missed out last week. He's back on the bench today, but this isn't the Nicky Devlin that we saw capped by Scotland in the first half of the campaign. Jeffy finds Barron on the halfway line and he goes back to Suter. 0-0, 12 minutes in here at Ibrox, and it's Suter along the grass out to the right-hand side there for Tavernier.
I think it's bound to hit your confidence a little bit, you know, vice captain as well, and
yeah.
You know, Jensen's brought to the club and all of a sudden he finds himself, you know, sitting on the bench. Listen, you've got to put that behind you, you've got to accept it. He's got the opportunity this afternoon to prove to the manager that he's better than Jensen, so go take it.
Here's Jeffy, moves in field away from Keskinen, finds Bayrami, first time ball back to Diamonde, midway inside the Aberdeen half, and then to Tavernier. On the right, rolls it to the underlapping Bayrami. McGrath for company in front of the Aberdeen support. And it's Tavernier on the touchline, infield to Czerny. Nice little turn away from Clarkson. And he tried to do too much and loses it. And Shinnie, nice little spin from him. Ockles not great control on the far side, allows Suter to win it back. The turnovers and possession, incredible in this game, which is still in its relative infancy. That goes out for a Rangers throw-in over on the far side, nothing each.
No, it hasn't improved, has it? You know, right from the start, there's been, you know, mistakes making, and it seems a really tight game. You know, I was hoping that it was going to be open, but it hasn't actually worked out that way.
Yeah.
It's so compact that you know, they're trying to make really intricate passes that hasn't come off, just swapping possession constantly. You know, it hasn't been good quality, though, you've got to say that. And another, you know, example of it there, it's just, you've got 1v1, you've got to be able to take on your opponent, not just hit the ball straight at him.
Yeah, it was Jeff Day on Devlin this time, as the ball was worked out to the left. It's with Balogun left of the centre circle, and then he rolls it out to this near side for Barron. Moves away from Keskinen and rolls it left to right of the centre circle for Suter. Out it goes to the right for Tavernier. Ockles is the closest Aberdeen player. Tavernier coming in field here. In for Raskin, who helps it on its way out left for Jeff Day. It's his cross ball in. Tovers meets it and clears it, but only as far as Jeff Day's got a second chance here. And a square ball into Diamonde's read by Dabag. We'll go back to Devlin. Forward to Dabag on this near side. He's fouled by Diamonde, and that'll be a free kick to Aberdeen. You can maybe have heard the scream
it
from
could not have been
Dabag.
that sort. I mean, oh my word, it was just clipped by Diamande. Oh, it's unbelievable. It really is. He's absolutely fine, of course.
He's just fixing his left boot, and he gets back to his feet. The Aberdeen striker preferred to Kevin Nisbet this afternoon.
Yeah, surprised by that. I wasn't at the game last weekend. Willie, was Nisbet poor against St Mirren, or?
It was just a combination that just was never going to work with Keskinen and Nisbet. Listen, he's been very hot and cold, Kevin.
Yeah.
You know, he's a goal scorer. He comes alive when he's in the box. But you know, see playing that number 10. I don't think he knows how to play the game. He doesn't link it at all. He doesn't look to get the ball from, you know, midfield or fullbacks. He just kind of ambles about. So he looks like a striker that's playing in a position when he plays the number 10 that doesn't know how to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think strikers like Nisbet and Shankland, it's a no-brainer. You just put them up front in the number 9 position,
and if you give
they
them
score
service,
goals.
they'll score.
And as we've seen
the
Hearts version in the last few weeks.
Certainly have.
There's Raskin for Rangers, who rolls it to Barron inside his own half, then to Czerny. First time ball into the path of Diamonde, driving down the right. Desert waiting in the middle. Still it's Diamonde's effort is blocked by Canuster. He'll keep it alive by rolling it back down the line for Tavernier. And then to Barron. It's not been a great game, but most of it's been played in the Aberdeen half, and it's Czerny looking to reverse it to Tavernier. Clarkson's in the way, though. He gets it clear. Dabag can't control, it's right through him, and it's with Suter, who knocks it out to Jeff Day on this left-hand side. 16 in, 0-0. It's Jeff Day attacking Devlin, now attacking the box. He moves in field, went to shoot with the outside of the left. All left-footed, of course. And it's blocked, and it breaks to Keskinen. He's trying to run away from trouble, but he's ended up running back into trouble, and Rangers have it back here. Barron to Diamonde, to Raskin, then to Barron, out wide left for Jeff Day. Jeff Day looks up, swings the cross ball in. Shinnie takes a little touch onto it, breaks for Tavernier. Chip ball back into the Aberdeen box, headed away by Devlin on the 6-yard line. Dabag with more fresh air than balls, it's not a great clearance. Raskin for Tavernier, goes back to Suter. And now it's Balogun. It's a bit better from Rangers, though, that. Just that little passage. Balogun strides forward away from Keskinen, rolls it to Bayrami's at the edge of the box on his left side, rolls it to the left angle of the area for Jeff Day. Aberdeen with everyone bar Dabag behind the ball here, defending pretty deep as it comes back to Diamonde. Will then roll it into the centre circle for Suter. Rangers will try and see if they get more luck down the other side. Raskin for Tavernier, and then back to Suter. And squares it to Balogun. Right-footed low ball out to Jeff Day on this near side. Dink ball in field for Diamonde. Finds Barron. Barron looks to angle it out to Tavernier. Tavernier controls it well. Under pressure from Shinnie. Turns it back to Raskin. Taking on Ockles. Moves in field. Square ball there for Diamonde. Then turns it out to Jeff Day. Left angle of the box. And it comes again. It's too high for Dessers. And then Czerny can't get a touch, neither can Tavernier. The ref blows his whistle anyway, and Aberdeen have a free kick inside their own area. It is Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0, but Rangers just upping the pace just a little bit in the last few minutes.
Yeah, they're seeing a lot of the ball, Liam, and moving it well from side to side, but not actually looking very threatening whilst doing it. Movement off the ball, there's not really that many options for them. Quite often, once they've gone from side to side, then turning back out and going to the other side, and not really piercing Aberdeen at the minute. A wee injury here for Nicky Devlin, it looks like. The physio's come on.
I thought the most threatening they've looked is when Balogun decided to take, you know, the bull by the horns really and just drive at the defence. In fact, I thought he could have continued with his run, because Aberdeen weren't.
Did you used to do that, Willie? Drive out of defence? Did you?
Well, you know, sometimes when you've got as much of the ball, even as that, then, you know, someone just coming from the back, like one of the two centre backs, and just driving, you know, as an extra man, and it gives the opposition something to think about. Aberdeen did have to think a little bit about it, but I just felt that he should have continued his run.
Hey, listen, I seem to remember Willie Miller in his last, might have been his last league game. Was that at Celtic Park, Willie? Your last ever league game for Aberdeen?
It was, yeah.
It's quite a young team the week before the Scottish Cup final. Willie helped set up a goal by driving up to the halfway line and launching the ball forward. So he was at it right at the end.
Very good. Very good.
Wins in Glasgow in league business, the big two stadiums, not exactly a regular occurrence for Aberdeen. They've only won 6 of their last 109 league games away to Rangers or Celtic, going back over the last 30 years. 3 here, 2017, 18 and 23 last season, of course, and 3 at Celtic Park, 2 in 04 and 1 in 2018. Considine's goal sealed second. Won a couple of cup ties, cup replays at both stadiums as well, and another Scottish Cup tie at Celtic Park. It's McGrath, gets it through towards Keskinen, looks to get in behind Jeff Day's shot, blocked by the Rangers defender. Polvara tries to win it back, now it's Clarkson's, better from Aberdeen this time in the attacking third. Out to the left, Shinnie with the cross ball in, cleared by Suter. Up into the air off the head of Canuster. Midway inside the Rangers half as Polvara jumps with Bayrami, goes Rangers way though. Foul there by the big American on the Albanian, and it will be a free kick to Rangers as Tavernier blasts the ball off Dabag, who I think the Rangers supporters think should be getting booked automatically for that. Not sure if no, he's not going to, referee Dickinson.
I don't think he is, and I think that's the right decision, but that was an example of a number 10 that knows
quality
how to play the number 10.
Quality, the wee ball, the chip ball over the top. Keskinen couldn't really get it down and get a shot away, could he?
He eventually got the shot, but it was well blocked. But if he'd have got it a bit quicker, it might have been a clearer strike at goal. But, you know, just that understanding how to play that, just coming off and picking it up, being that danger, you know, being up top but then coming off, and that just hasn't happened for Aberdeen with any number 10.
Here's a chance for Rangers though up the other end. Jeff Day on the left gets the low ball in, and no takers. Dessers and Czerny both tried to get there. Aberdeen tried to pick up on the far side. Ockles though, is it pinched off him easily by Tavernier. Diamonde rolls it into Raskin on his right side, forward to Diamonde, just to the left of the D there for Bayrami. Diamonde's made a run ahead of him, he's in space, Jeff Day can find him. Diamonde in the box, a good ball in, and Dessers stabs it wide. He was under pressure from Canuster, but he's found himself in a good position there, Dessers.
Yeah, it was better play from Rangers. Diamande making a really good run into the box, found by Jeff Day, flashed it across the front of Aberdeen's goal, but Dessers was well matched by the centre half and could only really get a toe to it, and he was never really going to get it on target. But it was kind of better play from Rangers, finding that better space, and it was all from the movement of Diamande.
Dessers was just too far ahead
past the post,
in the post, wasn't he? You know, to try and convert that one was always going to be difficult.
Rangers have it with Tavernier wide in the right, long ball into the Aberdeen box by Rami on the chest, where he can only chest it behind for the goal kick. And Tobers has got another sore one, and Dessers has too. I'm not sure what happened to Dessers there. I was watching Tobers chasing that with Bayrami. Tobers has ended up crashing into the advertising. Dessers is down inside the Aberdeen box. Not sure if you saw that, Stephen.
I didn't really. No. He just seemed to go down. It didn't look like there was much contact. I don't know whether he just lost his footing again, though. It was down as if he'd been poleaxed, and he's back up on his feet now. But yeah, I mean, it looked fairly innocuous to me.
0 0 at Ibrox, 22.5 on the clock. So we're through the first quarter of a match that hasn't exactly caught fire.
It's an understatement.
Yeah. Mitov will take this goal kick. Rangers fans think he's trying to kill some seconds here. Game Aberdeen really need to be winning. Sure why he'd be time wasting. As McGrath picks up and knocks it out to Ockles in field for Dabag, loses out, Barron's on it, and Barron slides it down the line for Czerny. Kanusta gets there first and puts it out for a Rangers throw-in. Level with the edge of the centre circle, maybe a bit further forward than that in the end.
It's scrappy again though, isn't it, to Ockles this time giving away possession. McGrath did well, hell of a well to take control and, you know, put the simple pass to him, but then he's tried to find the bag, and it's just a poor pass.
Mulligan out to Jeffty on the near side, and he gets away from Devlin, but Devlin sticks the boot in and just in the last ditch managed to get the ball back for Aberdeen, but they lose it quickly, and Barron flashes it back all the way to his goalkeeper. Kelly plays it short to Suter, who finds Barron and then back to John Suter again. Suter square ball for Balogun into the central defensive partner to Tavernier. Back to Liam Kelly. This game normally played with an edge, mainly at Pittodrie, but down the years back in Aberdeen's glory days, the trips to Ibrox were pretty no holds barred as well, as Willie will remember only too well. As Rangers pick up another loose ball from Aberdeen, it's now with Bairami. Polvara nicks it away from him and out for a Rangers throw-in. Aberdeen, when they've got the ball and they haven't had too much of it, they've got to make better use of it, I would have thought, Willie, if they're going to get a positive result today.
Liam, without doubt, when you come down to Glasgow, you're playing against, you know, Rangers or Celtic. Whenever you get possession, you've got to try and keep it. You've got to keep it. You've not got to try. You've got to keep it. And Aberdeen haven't done that. They give it away far too easily, and that's allowing Rangers to dominate most of the possession. You know, sometimes the touch as well. Keskinen, the bag, Ockles, their touch has just been so poor. The only one that I would pick out is having a really good touch is McGrath. He's been the most impressive.
Clarkson's
That's another pure pass. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's Clarkson this time looking for Ockles, cut out easily by Tavernier. Polvara wins it back in the midfield. Diamonde lost it. Devlin now on this near side. Chip ball looking for Keskinen behind Jeffty. Jeffty, did he get a touch? Well, doesn't matter because Keskinen has just back-heeled it off his other ankle and behind for a goal kick. Goalless. And if anything sums this game up in microcosm, it's that.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of quality on the pitch is really been very obvious. And 25 minutes in, I thought after 10 minutes it was just the start of the game, it would pick up. It has not.
Here come Rangers. Desser's out to Diamonde on the right, fires it in, looking for Czerny at the edge of the box. Kanusta gets it half away. Ball's in the midfield here with Bairami. And then Barron at the edge of the centre circle, rolling it low out to the left for Jeffty. Back to Connor Barron. Made 42 appearances in Aberdeen Red last season, Connor Barron. It's another up and down campaign. Saw a change in manager. Aberdeen are going to at least end this season with the same man in charge, and of course it could be a glorious season for them. But here's Tavernier with the ball, and Dessers with a header wide. Well, he'd stolen the march on Christer Stobbers. He heads it down into the ground. It's a good couple of feet wide of the left-hand post. It's the best chance of the game so far, and Dessers has spurned it.
It's a sitter, Liam, an absolute sitter. We've seen it so many times from Dessers over the years, but the quality of ball in from Tavernier, if you give him space and time, his delivery is usually on point. It was on that occasion. I don't know what Tobers is doing, getting caught under the ball. Willie will be able to explain that better, but Dessers from 6 yards out with a free header has got to hit the target.
Dessers doesn't actually have to do anything there.
No.
You know, what's happened is Tobers has just set it up for him perfectly. I don't know what he's thinking about. I can't answer that question.
Yeah,
you know, it's his judgment. His judgment is surely that he's got to just make the right run, you know, just judge the flight of the ball and just head it away. It's so simple.
Tavernier overhits the pass looking for Czerny, and Kanusta gets it back to Mitov. It was Rangers' really poor ball out of defence there, almost got Aberdeen in, but the Dons with another pass of their own which went awry. As McGrath picks up a lovely little dink down the left-hand side of the Rangers box. Keskinen's in here, he shoots, saved by Kelly, and he holds on the 6-yard line. Aberdeen's best chance of the game. Is it coming to life finally? It's taken 28 minutes, it remains 0-0.
This is the type of game that I was expecting from the start, but it really has came to life. 2 good opportunities. The Dessert one should have been a goal, absolutely should have. That one, it was well worked with McGrath again in the heart of it, and Keskinen, you know, making that run. I think they've actually swapped wings as Keskinen and Ockles. So, you know, him coming in from the other side, maybe should have done a little bit better. Maybe should have tested Kelly
Brilliant
more.
from McGrath again, though.
The bag driving forward, fouled by Barron. Aberdeen free kick, about 25 yards from goal here. We know what Leighton Clarkson did from this kind of distance when they met at Pittodrie.
It's quite far
last
out,
month.
this one.
Yeah, maybe slightly further out.
He's capable, though.
Yeah.
It's a clumsy challenge, actually. The bag drove towards the Rangers box.
I think it was Barron, was it?
Yeah, it was,
challenger?
Yeah. Aberdeen looking to try and threaten Liam Kelly's goal here. Will the deadlock be broken at this juncture? Clarkson spotting the ball up. McGrath's there too. And Clarkson did beat Liam Kelly. Did get a touch to it right enough, the Rangers keeper. Wasn't enough as Clarkson put Aberdeen ahead in that 2-2 draw last month. He's going to wind this one up, the Aberdeen number 10. Can he repeat the trick? Right-footed free kick. It's wide this time. Kelly didn't even have to dive for it. And as we approach the half hour here at Ibrox, it is Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0.
It looked close, but it couldn't have been that close because Liam Kelly was very calm and composed and thinking it was going past his post, but he caught it well.
Because it was a good height, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
was,
I mean,
aye.
if it was on target, it was testing the goalkeeper. But you're right. I think we've not got a great view of that. It looked as though Liam Kelly was more than comfortable that it was going well past him.
This is Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland across the frequencies, on digital, online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Highlights of this game on Sports Scene tonight at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel and repeated later on BBC One. And we've got playoff action live on the telly. Premiership playoff semi-final, first leg, Partick Thistle against Livingston to come on Tuesday. Second leg on Friday at Ammanvale. Of course, the other lower league playoffs have reached the final stage. East Fife Annan on Tuesday, Cove Airdrie on Wednesday. As Tobers pumps it up high, but it's midway inside his own half, and Polvara finds Ockles, looks to drive it forward to Dabag, who'll chase. Suter hovering across, comes off Suter and out for an Aberdeen throw-in. It's beyond the midway point of the Rangers half.
He's certainly willing, the bag, you know, he'll
Yeah.
make the runs either wide, you know, or in behind. I think he prefers it in behind, but, you know, he's athletic. His touch is not a great touch, but he does come alive in the box, you know, he can sniff out an opportunity.
On loan from Royal Charleroi in Belgium. He's extended his contract, though Aberdeen do have an option to buy him in the summer. That's thrown by Devlin onto the chest of Polvara at the edge of the Rangers box. He slips and gives it straight to Diamonde. Now it's by Rami, who loses out, but it's going to break to Raskin anyway. At level the edge of the centre circle, rolls it into Diamonde. He goes back to Suter. Barron to his left, simple pass, that's where it goes. Then Barron rolls it out to the left touchline for Jefty. And back to Barron. And turns back into his own half. Field to Diamonde, and then back to Suter. Just inside his own half, it's a long, big switch of play looking for Jefty. It's too close to Devlin, who gets his head onto it and nods it down the line for Ockles. Who goes back to Tobers, who goes back to his goalkeeper. Off short ball to Clarkson at the edge of his box. Clarkson nicks it to his right for Polvara. Forward to McGrath. Out to Devlin on the near side. Ockles ahead of him, looks to find them. Jefty wins the header though. Now it's with Barron, infield for Diamonde. Turns it back to Jefty. He goes back to Kelly. First time ball forward with the right foot. It's going to come by Rami's way. Not a great touch. Devlin with the challenge. The Rangers fans continually frustrated with Nedim Bayrami as Shinnie takes over. Heavy touch allows Tavernier to make the challenge. Shinnie goes chasing it on the far side and keeps it in. Czerny gets the touch and knocks it out for an Aberdeen throw-in level with the Rangers penalty spot in front of the Govan stand on the far side. Sandy Jardine stand. Back to Clarkson, and then Shinnie. His cross is deflected. It loops across the Rangers goal mouth. Bounces and bobbles its way out to Devlin on this near side. He's happy to let it go out for a throw.
Why not just put that back in the box? It's unbelievable.
It's the confidence thing, isn't it? He just wasn't confident, and this throw-in bounces off Dabag, and Rangers can come away with it. But Bayrami's been caught by Taubers, who's going to be the first player yellow carded this afternoon. It's a little bit off it. You can understand that. The Latvian has been out for 2 months. Yeah, so he brings Bayrami down.
The problem is, Liam, the bag's touch is just awful. You know, it comes into him, I think it comes off his shin, then comes off his chest, and he gives possession away. And then you can give Taubers an excuse for that one. A little bit late, he's mistimed his tackle, deserves a yellow card. But at the same time, that's just another example of, you know, players that, I don't know, just have got to be better. The quality's got to be better just to keep possession.
The thing is, Willie, is Bayrami's tended to by the medics here. Aberdeen didn't miss Bojan Miovski in the first third of the season, the first quarter of the season, really. Didn't miss him. They went through that run where they won 10 out of 11 of their first set of league matches. So they didn't miss him, but they're missing him now, and they've been missing him for months. When you see the touch of Dabag there, for example, Nisbet's been hot and cold. They could always really rely on Miovski.
Yeah, without doubt, Liam, you know, and Papagay come in, I don't know how many goals he's got just now. Is it 7, something like that?
How do you rate his touch compared to Dabag's?
It's on a par. I don't think any of the two of them have got a particularly good.
I'm just glad you never commentated in any of my games. Maybe you did.
they've got other qualities. Listen, and I think you've got to pick out the other qualities, and done that. We've done that with the bag. His energy, his enthusiasm. You know, he's willing to run in behind, but his touch is dreadful. But he's not the only one out there. You know, in blue and red jerseys, some of the touches just at this level, you know, cannot be acceptable.
Conor Barron gets the game back underway. Looks as though Bayrami's okay to continue as it comes to Suter, and now it's with Barron. Coming on to the last 10 minutes of the first half. Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0. Balogun has it, and out it comes to Jefty. Another half of football and a pass by without a Rangers goal inside their own stadiums. 2 of them in 3 months. More than that since they put 4 past Ross County. Scored in every other game at Ibrox before that this season. It really has, since the Queen's Park game. Taken a dramatic fall inside their own place as Kelly clears, flicked on by Diamondi into the Aberdeen half. Dessers attacking it, Taubers defending it. Taubers goes down, free kick Aberdeen. And they've got the play underway quickly. Canuster out to Shinnie, who's now driving across the halfway line, goes down, no free kick. That is classic Shinnie, really. Got between the man and the ball, gone down, he's out of position, and now Rangers come forward. Czerny on the right-hand side of the box, brilliantly defended by Clarkson. Shinnie's berating the referee, thinks he was fouled. Here's Tavernier, out to Czerny, wide on the right, level with the penalty spot. Back it comes to Raskin, blocked by Keskinen, and Rangers have their first corner after 36 minutes.
Leighton Clarkson did ever so well to fill in there. It was a lovely up, back and through from Rangers, and Czerny was almost in, and Clarkson did so well to match his run, get back, put him under pressure. Czerny trying to chop on his left foot, as we see it do so often, but Clarkson just getting a toe in.
See Czerny's touch though, it was out the way rather than in the way. I felt if his touch
driven
was
towards
in the way,
goal. Yeah, I agree.
There's no way back for Clarkson.
Yeah.
Václav Czerny will take the corner right in front of the visiting supporters over on the far side. The Rangers right as they attack the goal to the left in the first half. Bends it in, it's a good one as well, but it bounces off Balogun. Comes out to this near side. Dessers picks up the scraps, finds Barron. Back out to Dessers, wide in the left, swings the cross ball in, headed away by Shinnie. Wasn't the worst ball in by Cyril Dessers. It's a good challenge by Ockles and Barron, and then it's Dabag on this near side. Doesn't know where to go, and eventually he's run it straight out of play for a throw into Rangers on the near side. Raskin takes quickly and pulls it back into his own half for Jefty. Then to Suter. Aberdeen looking to get the result that would take them level on points with Hibs. The problem for them is, although Hibs lost yesterday, need an effective 2-result swing because of the goal difference advantage the Edinburgh team has, which is 16 goals. As Tavernier picks up, out to Czerny on the touchline. Level with the 18-yard line of Aberdeen, attacking the box. Find Raskin's a lovely spin there, but Polvara holds him off and Canuster clears out for a Rangers throw-in. A better spell for the home team this as we approach 38 goalless minutes. That's going to be an Aberdeen throw-in.
Just nicked off Raskin's foot as he cleared the ball. Yeah, slightly better from Rangers, but again, not really piercing Aberdeen. We've had the one decent chance, the Dessers one for Rangers in this half. The game kind of stinks of end of season to me. There's a lack of tempo, there's no energy in the stadium. It's just, the biggest thing's been the lack of quality, I suppose, the amount of turnovers.
McGrath for Aberdeen, looking to get it forward to Ockles, but it's too much on it. Kelly comes to the edge of his box and clears first time with the right foot. Dessers looks to control it. A little touch takes it off Tobers and out for a Rangers throw-in. Dessers takes quickly to Bayrami, back to Dessers, holding off Devlin, pokes it back to Raskin. And out to Bayrami on this left-hand side, faced by Polvara. Back up the line for Raskin, who moves infield. Goes back with the outside of the boot to Barron, forward to Czerny. Right central area, it's a heavy touch, allows Shinnie in to make the challenge. And Shinnie gets it out to Keskinen wide in the left. Now he'll try and have a go at John Souttar, but Souttar's got pace too. And he bites back, gets it back to his keeper. Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0, 6 to the break.
It's just so obvious from Keskinen though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And he's not going to beat John Souttar like that.
Yeah, he's not that quick.
Well, he's got a fantastic turn of pace, Toppy Keskinen, but so does Souttar.
Oh, yeah.
And that's despite those injuries that he's had. He's dreadful injuries, Souttar. Raskin picks up in the centre circle, clips it out to Jeffrey on the left. Finds Bayrami inside. Bayrami now up against Polvara and wins the throw-in down by the corner flag for Rangers. Deep inside the Aberdeen half. Bayrami's going to leave it for Jeffrey. He's not Mr. Popular, is he, Bayrami?
No, he gets a wee bit of stick from the supporters.
Raskin for Rangers infield to Barron, looks to slide it through, comes off Dessers, looking for Czerny. Aberdeen block though. And now Jeppe Ockels drives forward, another dreadful touch. And Souttar comes in, wins it back, finds Balogun, now it's Jeffrey. Midway inside the Aberdeen half he is, finds Bayrami on this near side. He rolls it back to Balogun. And to Raskin. You could kind of forgive Rangers for being in end-of-season mode, but for Aberdeen this is a huge match. Rangers have it with Tavernier wide in the right, up against Shinnie, who makes the challenge. Rangers emerge with a loose ball with Czerny, goes from distance, and Mitov holds on. It's comfortable enough save for the goalkeeper, who's having a go at his defence for allowing Václav Czerny the time and space to thunder that shot towards his goal.
It need to be some effort to beat a goalkeeper from there. 30 yards out it was hit well, but straight at me.
Yeah, Devlin runs up the line, runs straight into Jeffrey, and Rangers have it back, and they've switched it over to the right for Czerny, attacking Shinnie. Drops his shoulder, turns back the way out towards the touchline. Shinnie made a really good challenge. He's playing, by and large, that left-back role brilliantly for Aberdeen just now. He's quite recently had to go back there, and he's doing well in the position, because it looked as though him and Nielsen wasn't really working in the midfield for Aberdeen, yet Jimmy Tillin, during that run of matches without a victory, kept sticking with it. But he's doing a great job out there, Willie.
No, he is, and you know what, he gets forward as well. You know, he's eager to get forward, so it's not as if you're taking him out of midfield area and plonking him at left back and just asking him to defend. He has an impact going forward too, and he uses all his experience. Was he unfortunate when the legs collapsed? I don't think so. I think the referees are now getting wise to the collapsing legs, so we need to watch out. That's a couple of occasions with different referees that they've just ignored it, but no, I think generally at left back he's doing great, and obviously he's captain of the club as well. Great influence out there.
10 years on from lifting the Scottish Cup with Cali Thistle. He'll be looking to do that with his hometown team. Would have to be against the odds though, and it's another poor ball from Aberdeen. A big switch aim for Devlin, goes straight into touch for a Rangers throw-in.
Aberdeen are with the happier team getting in at half-time. If it remains like this at 0-0, all right, they've not really managed to create much in the game. But from Rangers' point of view, really, really poor. And to get in at half-time at 0-0, I think Jimmy Tillane will not be too angry about that. He's got players on the bench that can influence games.
Yeah, and Dessers has had the 2 best chances in the game, hasn't he? Comes out to Tavernier, one in particular with a header. There's Barron getting it from his captain, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Forward he comes, out to Diamonde on that far side. Back to Tavernier, looks to get the cross in. In fact, he's gone for a goal there. I'm not sure, it's gone straight through to Mitov anyway.
It's a cross, he just didn't get it the way he wanted to. 2
minutes until the end of the 45, and as it stands there will be 2 added on top of that.
I think Jimmy Tillane can accept the first half performance, but it's not been a good first half performance from Aberdeen. It's you know, I think he'll be looking for much more. And you're right, he's got players on the bench that can make a major impact, and I'm sure, you know, he's using all his experience.
Yeah, but here's Dessers in behind Canuster, looks to pull it back to Czerny, doesn't get enough on it though. Tobbers clears, out for a Rangers throw in on the far side, level with the Aberdeen penalty spot. Canuster fell asleep a little bit there. A little bit fortunate Dessers couldn't find Czerny. Diamonde bowls the throw in back to Suter. And then he goes back to Balogun in the centre circle.
It's not the best time in the game to fall asleep, Liam, with just a couple of minutes to go to the half-time break. But you're right, yeah, defensively poor.
Bayrami got goal side of Ockles there, moves in field and turns it back to Barron. And Raskin. Rangers looking for the opener just before half-time. It's always a terrible time to concede if you're a visiting side of the 2 big teams in Glasgow's. Tavernier puts it in, and it's behind Dessers. Mitov claims it came off his arm there as Ockles comes away. It's another fabulous ball in though. Stays 0-0, and a couple from Tavernier in the game from that right side. He's on it now again, the Rangers captain. 45th minute, 0-0. Raskin turns it short to Diamonde and then out to Barron, who rolls it side foot out with the right to the left hand side. Jefte in field 2, Bayrami into Barron, slips it forwards, a lovely dummy from Raskin. Dessers is there and he scores! Final minute of the opening 45. Barron at the heart of it. Dessers took the touch, rolls it low into the bottom right. It's a nightmare for Aberdeen, not just today, but in their hopes of finishing 3rd. And for Dessers, he's now on 26 for the season. Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0.
Well, the Aberdeen players think he was offside. It will be checked, of course. It looked tight. The flag did not go up, but it was all over the wee dummy just before it came through to Dessers. He takes the ball out of his feet. Similar angle, actually, to the Celtic goal, and then just slips it past Mitov into the bottom corner. I'd imagine it will get checked. It looked tight to me, Willie.
It did, didn't it? I'm not. It was one of the 2 centre-backs that was close to Dessers, and definitely put his hand up, claiming it was an offside position. It was a great pass, though, wasn't it, from Barron? You know, low along the ground with a fair bit of pace too. You know, they're still. It was well taken. Dessers took it well.
He did.
You know, he takes the touch and he drags it beyond Mitov. They will have to check it, and it looked as though it was offside.
Oh, the goal's going to be disallowed.
Yeah,
it's going to be disallowed for offside. This one's not going to count. It's going to stay 0-0. Aberdeen have gotten away with one here. Dessers offside, no goal.
You have to say, though, whoever's on the far side linesman, I don't know who it is, he's got to spot that. Really? I mean, they looked at it from up here, just didn't put his flag up.
The thing is, I agree with you, because there's only 2 players really.
Yeah, it looked to me like an easy one to see.
Yeah, it's not as if there was a lot of bodies in front of him. It's just the 2 players, Dessers, and I think it was Canuster. I'm not 100% sure. They look quite alike at times, but that's an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
So it stays 0-0, and that's a bonus for Aberdeen. That for Dessers, he stays on 25 for the season, and the scoreline stays at 0-0. 2 minutes were added. There will be more on top of that now. We've played 2 minutes of stoppage time already. Imagine there'll be another one on top of that. As Dessers turns it back, looking for Barron, onto the chest of McGrath, was down, fouled by his old teammate Barron. Free kick Aberdeen. Maybe Aberdeen will get a chance to swing the ball into the Rangers box before half-time. having thought they were going to be going in at the break behind, Willie.
Yeah, it's a huge let-off for them, you know, but hey, he's offside and you take that. I thought they were a little bit open, I must admit, but I thought the pass was really good from Conor Barron. You know, it's one that was really difficult to defend. The hand was up, by the way. I think it was Canuster. The hand was up right away in terms of him being offside. So, you know, maybe we're not giving them credit enough that that's what he meant to do.
Aberdeen with this free kick. Clarkson with it, bends it into the box, looking for Polvara. There's a chance here. Tabag's knocked it into the net, but the flag goes up. Well, came off his head, back off Liam Kelly, knocked it home in the rebound. But the flag was up nice and early on this occasion, and it stays Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0. But there was a group of Aberdeen players who tried to get in behind that Rangers high line.
Yeah, it was a clever free kick. See what they were looking to do, just try and dink it in behind the Rangers defence, and 3 of them, they did look offside, but I mean, well, of course, be checked. He should have scored it first time to back. He missed it, but it came off Liam Kelly and he poked it home. But yeah, I imagine this will be offside as well. A wee flurry of entertainment at the end of the half. Thank goodness.
Just to keep us going.
Aye.
But I agree with you, it definitely looked offside. It looked as though there were 2 or 3 Aberdeen players in an offside position, and Rangers obviously, you know, playing that high line. And
they're drawing the lines right now, currently.
They're drawing it. I don't think.
Must be tighter than I think, yeah.
Well, it must be, but from where we are, it definitely looked offside.
There might well be 1 or 2 Aberdeen players in an offside position, but Dabag was perhaps slightly further behind, but they've confirmed it now, no goal. It remains 0-0. As that goes out to play for a throw-in on the far side to Rangers. Tavernier level the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box. Diamonde goes back to Suter. Both teams have had the ball in the net in the closing stages of the first half. Neither count, but here come Rangers again. Tavernier on the right gets it in. It's too high for Dessers this time. Jeff Dale try and keep it alive on the near side. We're well into a 5th minute of stoppage time. It's back with Raskin. Up against Ockles. Looks up, right foot, bends it in. Mitov commits himself, but grabs it and holds on with both gloves. And there's a little bit of afters with Mohamed Diamonde, and David Dickinson will bring the first half to a close. Dessers thought he'd Rangers in front there, deep inside the 45th minute. It was disallowed after a VAR check. Ode Dabag had the ball in the net up the other end. It was disallowed by the linesman, confirmed by the VAR. Dessers missed a huge opportunity with a header earlier in what was a largely forgettable first half at Ibrox. With at half-time, it is Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Good Morning Scotland brings you everything you need to know every day.
Many people waking up to this news this morning, so what do we know at this stage?
The Prime Minister will offer an update.
Doesn't sound like it means an immediate end to conflict.
That we can be sure of.
Getting to the heart of the stories making the news.
The aircraft are also a reminder of the many pilots who flew in them during World War II and beyond.
The Scottish Ambulance Service are teaching these students 6 basic first aid techniques.
Wake up to Good Morning Scotland.
Do you have a favourite assembly hymn?
Flag flying high in the castle of my heart.
We've got Phil to our right and Joy to our left, and you asked Phil to sing.
Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
This is Sports Time with me, Richard Gordon. We are midway through the one remaining Premiership fixture for the weekend. It is Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0. It has largely been a turgid affair which came to life just in the final minute and then into stoppage time. Both sides with the balls in the net, neither counting. In the SWPL, there's a massive match between Hibernian and Glasgow City. Now, Glasgow were ahead through a goal from Hayley Lauder early in the match. It looks as if Hibernian have just levelled in that one. I'll get confirmation. With the early goal, Glasgow City had gone top of the league on goal difference ahead of Hibernian. That will put the Edinburgh side back on top. In the live table, Adams with the equaliser for Hibernian. So 1-1 it is in that one. We'll keep an eye on that. Then later, Celtic against Rangers as a 4:10 kickoff. Matches in the relegation group as well. And we could see relegation sorted out this afternoon. Remember, just 2 games to go for the teams in the SWPL after today's round of fixtures. A reminder that you can see the women's highlights on the telly on Monday night. Tomorrow night, SWPL highlights on BBC Scotland Channel 7:30. Tonight, you can see the sports scene highlights at 7:15 on BBC Scotland. All the action from yesterday and extended highlights from today's game at Ibrox. They would do well to find much from the first 45 minutes or so until... I mean, I've got to say, Stephen, I had 3 notes in the whole first half up until that last minute, and one of them was a booking. It's been a hard watch for the most part, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, you're right. I mean, at the start of the game, you could expect that, maybe the turnovers and the giveaways as the players tried to find their way into the match, but it continued and it continued, and it's the lack of quality on the ball, the amount of times people just giving the ball away needlessly. Then there's been cheap foul after cheap foul, stop-start game, Rangers having possession but not doing anything with it in the final third. Something Barry spoke about in his pre-match was he wanted that quality in the final third. They needed to see more. Well, we've not seen it. No. So, I mean, for me, Aberdeen, yeah, OK, they defended all right. They haven't been asked too many questions. But again, haven't looked a force going forward. For me, I would imagine he'll be looking to his bench. I don't think Ockles has offered enough in that half. Keskinen slightly better, but from your 2 wider players, I think we need a wee bit more. Again, you know, Willie mentioned a couple of times in commentary, the bag. You know, he's trying hard, he works hard, but it's the quality issue for me that is missing for him as well. So I'd imagine Aberdeen might make to look changes. As I said in commentary, they'll be the much happier team in here at half-time at 0-0.
Yeah, Stephen mentioned, Willie, that Ockles hasn't contributed much. You see an awful lot more of Aberdeen than he does. I think you could probably confirm to him that is a recurring theme with Jeppe Ockles.
Yeah, without doubt. Richard, you know, he's had opportunities, he's had starts now, but he doesn't do nearly enough. You know, Keskinen is the one that produces the performances. He's the one that can get you up the park. They did change wings as well, so you know, Keskinen more comfortable on the left-hand side from what I've seen this season anyway. But Ockles, no, he's not done nearly enough in the opportunities he's had, and he's certainly not doing his chances much good in the first half. But it is a poor game, Richard. You know, I think they're really struggling. I thought Jamie McGrath on 2 or 3 occasions, you know, showed how you should play that number 10 position, and he linked up quite well, put that lovely little chip over the top for Keskinen to run onto, and eventually getting the shot at goal. No, Aberdeen, they're well organised, they're folding back, they're making it difficult for Rangers. Rangers don't seem to have, you know, too many answers really to it. They don't have the quality up top. You know, Tavernier, when he gets forward and he puts the crosses into the box, absolutely. He had another one that came off Desser's shoulder. I think Desser just went in too early towards the near post. Timing his run was poor. But overall, it's been a poor first half. Yes, I think Jimmy Tillene will be okay with the performance, but I don't think he can be happy with it. You know, because when you get the ball, you've got to do much more. You've got to try and keep possession. Well, I say try, you've got to keep possession. There's no trying about it. You've got to keep possession. If you constantly give it back to Rangers, then eventually something will happen and something will break, and they'll find the back of the net. So from an Aberdeen point of view, I would suggest that the quality of passing, the quality of the movement forward has got to be much better. And at 0-0, I think, and the shame is the pitch is absolutely magnificent.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's absolutely superb. And we're watching these players constantly give away the ball to the opposition. It's quite incredible.
Cyril Dessers had the opportunity of the afternoon. Again, there's a recurring theme, Stephen. I mean, he just had to score, didn't he? It was a magnificent cross from Tavernier. Tobers, I think it was, who got caught underneath it. But he's 7 yards out, Cyril Dessers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a difficult opportunity at all, and the quality of the ball in, you're right to point out, from Tavernier was magnificent. It lands straight in his head. He's not under pressure. He's in the middle of the goal virtually, just get good contact on it. You know, if you get the contact and the goalkeeper saves it, fine. But to miss the target completely with a header, you know, it was a big opportunity. And we've seen it so many times. But yeah, he's got 25 goals this season, and you just can't argue with the goals that he scores. What you can't argue with is the chances that he misses as well. And it's been talked about and documented many an occasion and many a debate. But again, that was one, you know, that you have to say really should have been a goal for Rangers, and they haven't managed to create that many opportunities. I think when they've had possession, mostly it's looked like if the ball gets to Tavernier, his deliveries would cause problems, but they've really struggled to break Aberdeen down centrally. Anything kind of in and around the box. The one was the disallowed goal. I mean, it looked tight to us. Did you see it back?
It wasn't even tight.
Or was it not?
I mean, it's a superb pass through from Conor Barron. He finds it. I mean, he just threads it through beautifully. But I think you said surely the assistant has to see that. There was clear daylight between the Aberdeen defenders and Dessers. I mean, at least 2-3 feet.
Richard, see when you say defenders, was there more than one defender there?
The two defenders kind of.
Was it two defenders and Dessers? Because
it would have. Yeah.
I thought it might have just have been 1v1 at that stage, and that made it even easier for the linesman to make that decision.
I mean, they were not in his way. Dessers was behind the two, and you're right. As the ball goes through, I think it's Tobors who's actually closest to Dessers, who actually takes a lovely touch, and it's a really nice finish. But I mean,
But this is an example of when VAR is good in the game. Because you know, otherwise Rangers were getting 1-0 up, and you know, VAR takes a lot of stick in these offside situations. Is when it really comes to the fore. But again, no, you know, if you're looking at it from Willie Collum's point of view, you'd be looking, going, that's an easy decision that my linesman should be spotting.
And you got to see the other assistant got it right for the Aberdeen goal.
How much offside was that? Was it alone?
To be honest, it wasn't just probably. Do you know, it was one of those where the defenders are coming out and the strikers are going in, and actually it ends up looking like he's 10 yards offside, and it certainly wasn't just quite as big a gap as that. But no, it was the correct decision. He was the furthest forward player at the back. Again, it was a really nice ball in from Leighton Clarkson. We touched on the distribution, the passes from both Barron and from Tavernier, but Clarkson curled that in nicely. Dabag finishes, he decides to play a 1-2 off Liam Kelly.
Yeah.
And it does eventually finish. But I mean, I think the bottom line is that this game probably deserves a 0-0 scoreline at this stage, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And you know what? The kind of sparseness of the Rangers support that have turned up here today.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, just watching on the monitor, Stephen, it looks like they're, I don't know, 25-30% down on full capacity.
Yeah, there's loads of empty seats. I suppose if you're a Rangers supporter, there is absolutely nothing to play for. You've kind of not won at Ibrox in 7 games. It's a nice sunny day. You could be in a beer garden or something of that ilk. When you know, why would you bother? Really, I think that's what a lot of them have thought this afternoon.
Is there one close by?
Plenty.
Yeah, but it is a sign. You're right. It's a sign that, and you can understand the discontents among the Rangers fans, and
the uncertainty as well, Richard, isn't it? It's
well.
uncertainty. You know, you don't know where the club's going really. The results have been poor, particularly here at Ibrox, so you can't really blame the fans for not turning up. Particularly when the sun, well, it's went behind the clouds just now, but it was a magnificent afternoon earlier on.
Right, give me some hope for the second half, boys. Tell me how this game is going to come to life.
I think a goal would do it for either team. It would bring out the other side. You know, Aberdeen seem quite happy to kind of contain Rangers at the minute, and would a 0-0 be the worst result for them? Maybe not. So that's the way I'm looking at it from an Aberdeen point of view. But I do think that they've got to make a change. Ockles, for me, I would change him for Morris.
Shaden Morris has got to come on.
Yeah, get him on, and I would take off the striker as well at the bag and bring on Nisbet. And that would be 2 positive substitutions that could help Aberdeen be a wee bit more creative, give them a wee bit more spark, because they've lacked that. From Rangers' point of view, Barry can't be happy with what he's seen in that first half, especially with what he said before the game about wanting more in the final third. The final third has produced very, very little. So you look to the bench and you go, well, okay, Cortez, perhaps. Danilo hasn't really done it since he's come back from fitness. Egeman, it's up and down, mostly down in recent times with Egeman. But I'd imagine, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if both managers made a couple of subs at half-time just to try and bring a spark to this game that's missed. It's missed an edge, which is funny because, you know, we obviously spoke about before the game as well how this game often has an edge, and Rangers Aberdeen games often have that kind of bite to them. This game's not.
Yeah, I hope that Jimmy Tilleen goes to the bench at half-time, Richard. You know, he tends to wait and give it maybe 10-15 minutes into the second half, but I think it's pretty obvious that Ockles is nowhere near it, and Morris has got to come on. And I just think, okay, he runs about a lot so far. I think he does come alive in the box, you know, even with, it took him 2 efforts to, you know, put it in the back of the net. The bag is a danger, but I still think Nisbet and McGrath might be a combination that could work. But surely Shayden Morris has got to come on. We know the quality he's got. We know the trick that he's got as well. We know that he can hit the byline. Get him on early, get him on at half-time. Papagay and Nisbet is Richard.
Ah, well, there you go, yeah. Wow. Well spotted, Willie.
Papagay and Nisbet coming on.
Yes, well, they're out there doing a little warm-up, and they're right in front of us, so it's in your face. They're stripped, yeah. So it's
amazing. I mean, Shayden Morris got the fans' Player of the Year award. He barely starts a game, but it shows.
Maybe for that Ross County goal.
Well, it just shows how the fans are excited by Shayden Morris and what he brings, but for some reason.
Well, has there been an outstanding player for you, Willie, for Aberdeen this season?
Morris has done games. There's been, you know, I think Knuster's done well. Nisbet at times. No, I mean, I don't think there is. I think Leighton Clarkson's had moments. Richard, I think he's had some good games. But no, I think for sheer excitement, I would say it's you know, it's definitely Shayden Morris.
I think the problem
he's got a trick, and it's a wonderful trick.
Absolutely, but as you keep saying, it's one trick, but it's one trick that nobody can seem to combat.
Exactly.
No, I mean, I think the point from an Aberdeen point of view was that there are lots of players there who've had very, very good half seasons. It's about actually finding somebody who's contributed over the course of the whole campaign, and it would be pretty difficult. I must admit, I wondered Graham Shinney just for the level of performance throughout the course of the campaign. But anyway, Morris isn't on as things stand, so the Aberdeen fans will have to wait. It does look as if they're going to be seeing both Papagay and Kevin Nisbet.
Well, Liam's just pointed out to me that he thinks it is the bag and Ockles that are coming off, so we've called it correctly if that's the case.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, I would anticipate nothing else when you two are behind the microphone to hear anything but firm, 100% accurate predictions as to how games are going to pan out. Let's hope, look, whatever happens, let's hope there is just a bit more excitement in the second 45. Any indication that Rangers are making changes?
Yeah, I think there is. I think Egeman is also out with his strip on, and I think Liam's pointing out with his little finger there that it's going to
his little finger?
Yes, his little finger, that it's going to be Bayrami that's coming off. So there we go, 2 changes for Aberdeen, 1 for Rangers. And I think, Rangers, as I mentioned, in the final third have lacked a spark. So Egeman is capable of providing that.
Sure is, yeah.
And I imagine he'll just go up top, probably with Dessers.
Okay, well, remember, it is the chance to watch all the highlights on Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. Just a quick check of the big women's game in Hibernian. Have turned it around, you know. Ailey Adams got them back on level terms against Glasgow City, and in first half stoppage time, Kathleen McGovern has netted. So it's now Hibernian 2, Glasgow City 1. And that would see Hibernian move 6 points clear at the top of the table with just 2 matches remaining. What an incredible campaign they have enjoyed. Right, the players are back out. Let's get live second half commentary from Ibrox, where it's Rangers 0, Aberdeen 0. Willie Miller, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, confirmation of those changes. Rangers making one with Bayrami coming off and replaced by Igaman, who got Rangers first in the 2-2 draw at Pittodrie the last time they collided. And Aberdeen with Nisbet and Gay coming on to replace Dabag and Ockles. Didn't exactly cover themselves in glory in that first half. Dabag, of course, got that Scottish Cup semi-final winner that's given Aberdeen the showpiece to look forward to 13 days from now. So Aberdeen are going to kick off the second half, shooting from right to left towards the Broomloan. In the second period, Clarkson rolling it back to Taubers, who smashes it forward. Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts will go left to right towards Copeland Road. In the second half, 0-0 in the balance. Ball forward off the chest of Pappy Gates with Shinnie, who moves it back to Canusten. Of course, Gay got Aberdeen's second in the 2-each draw that put them 2-0 up. Jamie McGrath looks as though he's going to go out wide right as that long ball towards him. Evades him and goes behind for the goal kick to Rangers. So you're taking McGrath out of that number 10 position. It looks like it might be actually Nisbet who'll sit in that little hole behind Gay, who'll go forward as the main striker. And there's Nisbet with a touch for Keskinen, can't find him though, and Tavernier's onto it and he's fouled by Shinnie. Free kick, Rangers. And a word of warning from referee Dickinson to the Aberdeen captain.
Yeah, I think they can change though as well. Liam, you know, and Nisbet going up top, Papagay coming off, but it's certainly looking at the start of the second half that Papagay is going to be the one that's leading the line, number 9, and Nisbet number 10. Although I'm not too sure about Nisbet as a number 10. I prefer to see him much closer to the box.
Tavernier's ball forward cut out by Shinnie, and Shinnie's ball forward's cut out by Tavernier, and that's out for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side. So we'll see if the changes have the desired effect for both teams. Rangers with Kelly in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jefte, Diamonde, Barron, Raskin, Cherney, Igaman, Dessers. Aberdeen with Mitov in goal, Devlin, Taubers, Canuster, Shinnie, Polvara, Clarkson, McGrath, Nisbet, Keskinen and Gay. Here come Aberdeen, right-hand side. Devlin's too high for Gay, comes off Suter. Keskinen's touch takes him out of the box, where he's turned it back to Shinnie. Bends the ball in, should be the keepers, and is. 2 minutes into the second half, nothing each.
It's actually a good ball in, wasn't it?
For Devlin, yeah. He did really well. I thought the ball looked as though it was going to go out for the throw, and a really wicked cross into the box too. Reasonably well defended, but yeah, it was a positive move from Aberdeen. You would hope that you would see more from both sides along that line.
There can be no underestimating the importance of finishing third for Aberdeen. Those European riches, they could pick them up by winning the Scottish Cup, but they're going to be massive underdogs to do that against Celtic. So by finishing third, they're £6 million already in the bank for guaranteed European football beyond the qualifiers, as Pappy Gay comes forward and finds Nisbet. And a stab at the Europa League playoff round as well. Nisbet left by Devlin, McGrath wide in the right angle of the box. Shimmy's on his right side, driving towards the byline. Good play by McGrath, across it comes, and Kelly's foot gets it away at his near post. It's back out to Devlin, gets the cross in, comes off a Rangers head. Shinnie will pick up the scraps left-hand side of the box, faced by Tavernier, rolls it to Keskinen. Up against Diamonde, decides to turn it back to Clarkson, who returns it to Keskinen in the box, and it hits the post. Hit it with the left, might have taken a touch off Suter. It ricochets off the goal frame and out for a throw into Aberdeen on this near side.
It's just a wonderful little kind of outside of the right.
That's a Rangers ball in the end. Sorry, Willie.
Dink pass from Clarkson there for Keskinen.
Got to go across the keeper now.
I think so, yeah. But you know what? I think he maybe felt that he could have squeezed it in at the near post. There was a little gap, but you're right. I think he hits it across the face. And even if Kelly saves it, then you might get the rebound,
yeah. You're right to point out the pass from Clarkson is magnificent.
Desser's pass infield is poor, straight back to Aberdeen. It's Polvara, left of the centre circle. And out to Clarkson. He'll try and switch it out to Devlin. Dinks it out to Nicky Devlin. It's not a great first touch, and he's allowed Jefte to pinch it back off him all too easily. Jefte driving down the left-hand side. And then rolls it up the line for Igaman. Low ball into the box. Czerny's going to get there. Mitov saves it. And Czerny trying to accept the corner, which he has done. It's good play by both teams, actually, in the attacking third. Perhaps points to a better second half than what we saw in the opening 45. Rangers have a corner, nothing each.
The opening 4 minutes has by far surpassed the 45 in the first half. It was a lovely pass through and a good run from Czerny. Mitov did really well to come out and meet it. And just at the same time, I think is it Tobers or was it
Knuster,
is it? I think they kind of collided with the goalkeeper. He's been down for about a minute now. No physios are coming on, so you presume he's all right. I think his
boots off. He's trying to fix that. Yeah. Rangers will have a corner when all is said and done. And James Tavernier's going to take. Yeah, he's back up on his feet.
You know, I think Nicky Devlin's struggling a little bit out there. You know, hasn't had a good first half, and certainly, although that cross was a very good cross, but defensively.
Tavernier took a short corner, gets it back. He'll get another corner as his attempt to play it into the Don's box was cut out. So he's getting a second chance here. Imagine this one will be coming straight into the area as Rangers try and make the breakthrough here. Tavernier spotting the ball up. It's on the Rangers' left as they attack the goal to the right. Group of players breaking away from the penalty spot, and it comes. Suter wins the header, and it's wide of the right-hand post. Yeah, it was well to leap and win it there. 51, it stays nothing each.
It was a kind of floaty corner that to the back post, and Suter got up early and managed to get above the centre half of Aberdeen. He just couldn't quite get the direction on the header. It wasn't an easy header, but he did well to climb.
There's Diamonde picking up a loose one from Dimitar Mitov. Finds Raskin, flicks it with the outside of the right boot to the left there for Jefty. Back in field for Raskin. Looks up at the Aberdeen box, a chip ball in, looking for Diamonde. Couldn't get anything onto it. He was at the left angle of the 6-yard box when it escapes him and goes behind for the goal kick to the Dons. And that again stemmed from a loose ball out of defence, this time from the Aberdeen keeper.
Yeah, it was a really poor kick from Mitov straight to Diamande, and the ball through to Diamande again was fantastic. He just tried a kind of spectacular effort on his left-hand side. It might have been better try to just take a touch and recirculate the ball, but he did not.
Gay wins a header on the near side, but it goes straight to Barron. He'll nick it back to Balogun, who in turn passes it to Liam Kelly. Chip ball from the Rangers keeper out to the near side. Shinnie wins the header, but it's going to go out for a Rangers throw-in. Just a bit level with their own penalty spot on this near side. And Suter leaves it for Tavernier. An option in Barron, instead he bowls it along his 18-yard line for Balogun. And a low pass with the left foot out to the far side for Jefty. Forward to Raskin, goes back to Balogun. And to Suter. Suter looks up at the pitch ahead of him, plays the short ball to Raskin, who goes back to Suter. Right of the centre circle, up to the halfway line, now with Diamonde, to the left of the circle for Barron. Helps it on its way out there to Jefty with the right foot. Jefty's on the left now. Looks to cross from level with the penalty spots, cut out by Devlin. McGrath picks it up. Goes back to Nicky Devlin.
Jefty's quality on the left-hand side, it's not, for me, in terms of his delivery, good enough or consistent enough. On that occasion there, he's going to try and make space to put the cross in. He just tries to cross it in with two players right in front of him. It was obvious he was going to cannon off one of them.
Goalless at Ibrox. The sun tries to break through the clouds above here in Glasgow. It is Suter. Right-footed ping ball to the left-hand side of the 6-yard box. Looking for Igaman. Tobers sticks with him. Igaman forced out of the box, out to the corner flag. Used to turn it into Jefty, cut out by McGrath. Then Tobers knocks it off Igaman and behind for an Aberdeen goal kick. It is 0-0.
Unfortunately, it is 0-0, but a little bit brighter, I think, in the second half. You know, I think there's a bit more intent and not as many loose passes as there were in the first half.
Here goes Shinnie driving forward for Aberdeen. Good backtracking by Barron, though, slides in. Is it a good game against his old club, Conor Barron, this afternoon so far?
Yeah, Shinnie's had a good game as well.
Barron here. Oh, as soon as I say that, he loses it to Nisbet. Gay goes for goal and Kelly saves, albeit made a bit of a meal of it, gets back onto it the second attempt.
It's got to do better there, Gay, no? It's 19 yards out. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to shape it and go for the far top corner of Liam Kelly's goal to the left-hand side, but he didn't get anything on it at all. It's a decent chance.
Yeah, it's a poor effort though, isn't it, really? He might have been able to set it up a little bit better for himself, maybe even taking a touch.
Yeah, he could have.
Try to take on the defender. Absolutely right, you know what he's trying to do, but it wasn't executed well.
From Rangers is through to Czerny from Raskin. He toes it home. Czerny scores. Rangers lead here. A dagger to Aberdeen's third place hopes, that one. It was won by Raskin in the midfield, fed through to Czerny, and he knocks it past Mitov. That's his 18th of the season, and it's Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0.
Well, it's the simplest of goals from Rangers. Raskin doing really well, spots the run of Czerny straight through the middle of Aberdeen's two centre-halves. He's one-on-one with Mitov and slips it through Mitov's legs. A cool finish from Czerny, but where were two Aberdeen centre-halves, really? I mean, how can one straight pass put somebody clean through? Remarkable.
It is. I mean, there's a huge gap between the two centre-backs there. I'm not sure if, because Rangers are playing the two up top and Czerny's coming in off the left-hand side, that they've went with their strikers thinking that's the job that they should do, and it's exactly the opposite. You should be watching the ball. They should be you know, thinking about where the danger is, and they didn't do that, and Czerny's just running. Listen, it's a decent ball, but it's there, everybody can see it. All it has to be is a decent weight, and it was a decent weight, and then Czerny through the legs of Mitov. Dear me, just dreadful defending, but a well-worked goal from Rangers, you have to say, but it should have been stopped, surely.
A lead for Rangers, and that's the goal Aberdeen were dreading today. And now they're going to have to come from behind to win this game. Maybe even settle for a point now, but here come Rangers again. Tavernier's ball through, cut out by Clarkson. And it's Keskinen, but there's Barron again to win it off him.
Excellent play from Barron, but Keskinen's way too much time on the ball.
Diamonde's fouled there by Shinnie, and it's going to be a free kick to Rangers midway inside the Aberdeen half. The Rangers supporters are howling at David Dickinson to book the Aberdeen captain there.
I thought he got a nick in the ball, no?
Yeah, possibly. I think it was rather awkward, the challenge. I didn't really see it as being a yellow card. You know, Shinnie's maybe a target for the Rangers fans. But just getting back to the two centre-backs, they're following the two strikers now. They're not playing as two centre-backs, they're playing man-to-man, and there's huge gaps appearing. And Czerny's coming in and exploiting the gaps, as he did for the goal.
That goal would have been greeted with some happiness, I would imagine, by the Hibs fans as well. Their defeat at Celtic yesterday. Tavernier with a free kick for Rangers. Desser's heads over the bar.
Again, what a delivery that is. The quality of the delivery is sensational from James Tavernier. Dessers, it's not a difficult header. Again, for me, should be getting it on target, but headers it over the bar.
Well, Aberdeen haven't won this fixture when they've conceded the opening goal since the 8th of October 1988, but Rangers have given it away at the edge of their own box, and it's Gay who shoots. A brilliant save by Kelly. Keskinen shoots straight at the Rangers keeper. Well, there was a big gap to the goalkeeper's left, to Papi Gay's right. He decided to go near post and allowed Kelly to make the save, but take nothing away from the goalkeeping, Tomo.
Brilliant goalkeeping from Liam Kelly, but for me, the angle that Gay's at and how close he is into the goal should be a goal for Aberdeen. That it was a slack bit of play from James Tavernier that led to the breakaway, and Aberdeen, a couple of chances now for them in this second half. They're going to have to take two good chances. That one for me should have been a goal.
Yeah, it's down to that quality again. Although the McGrath pass was a quality, but Papi Gay, it's a strike. It's a hopeful strike. You think it's not really one with a great deal of thought in it, and where he's going to go, it's pretty much straight at the goalkeeper. It's a decent save, but I don't think it was over-tested, was it, Kelly? Just Papi Gay's got to do better.
Yeah.
There's Dessers on the turn at the edge of the box. He's almost got it through to Egeman. Tobbers is there for Rangers. Now it's with Polvara through to Nisbet on the far side. And he's given it away, and Rangers have it. Czerny at the edge of the Aberdeen box, twisting and turning. rolling it out to Igaman. Across it comes towards Raskin, and Aberdeen clear through Canuster. Barron at the edge of the Aberdeen box, flights it with the right foot to the left-hand side of the area, and then Devlin with a calm header back to his keeper. And Aberdeen have a man down inside their own area, and it might well be Jamie McGrath.
Yeah, when he went up to try and win the header, he landed awkwardly on his back, much like the one in the very first minute. I think he'll be all right. A couple of stretches, he's doing a bit of yoga, he'll be okay after that. But the game's opened up in this second half. It's much better viewing.
Yeah, I think with the Rangers playing the two right up top as well onto the two centre backs, it's caused Aberdeen a problem, and they haven't been able to deal with it, and it's creating opportunities in a huge amount of space for Czerny. And I don't feel that the midfield are doing what they should be doing, and that's picking up Czerny. One of them has got to take the responsibility, but I definitely think that Igaman coming on has made quite a bit of a difference. And the Aberdeen fenders, I mean, look at them, they're so stretched. There's a good 15-20 yards between them at times.
Good header by Suter, finds Barron. Václav Czerny there, the first player other than Cyril Dessers to score for Rangers inside Ibrox in more than 3 months.
Jeez,
since Tavernier scored a penalty in the 4-0 win over Ross County on the 2nd of February. Dessers has managed one against Motherwell, one against Celtic since then. And that's it, until Czerny put Rangers ahead today. Czerny rolling it out left-hand side, the Aberdeen box. Raskin sits the defender down, and it's in! Well, it might have come off shinny last. Dessers was there. It was the closest Rangers player to it, and Rangers doubled their lead in the space of a few minutes. Rangers 2, Aberdeen 0.
It's brilliant play from Raskin down the left-hand side. It's a bit too easy from Aberdeen's point of view. Gets to the byline, plays a simple ball across the face of goal. Only probably 2 yards out. Dessers just has to touch it to turn it into the net, and that, you imagine, is game over.
It's been coming. It's been coming. You know, since the changes were made, and Rangers playing with the two up top. The Aberdeen two centre backs and full backs. Full backs are charging away forward. Two centre backs have got two players. Czerny's picking up the space in the middle. There's so many gaps there. It's quite incredible. The defensive display in the second half from Aberdeen has just been criminal. It's a well-worked goal. Not taking anything away from Rangers. Well-worked goal, but dearie me, and I think it was Tobers that decided to sit down, was it? Down that right-hand side.
Raskin, it was too easy.
He was.
2-0, and Dessers confirmed as getting the final touch. So Czerny and Dessers, and Rangers scored just 2 goals here since the start of February, have scored 2 in the space of a few minutes. Aberdeen gifting the presence, and it's Dessers again on the charge into the box, pulls it across, blocked by Tobers, and Aberdeen clear through Canuster. Aberdeen are all over the place at the back.
They just don't know how to deal with it at all, and Millie's right to point out Czerny, since he's moved into that kind of more number 10 position, he's causing all sorts of problems.
He goes down, wanting a free kick, he's not getting one, but he was weak in the challenge, and Rangers win it back through Raskin, and now it's with Diamonde. Infield to Raskin, then out to Tavernier. Almost 63 played, Rangers then 2 up. And Aberdeen's hopes of usurping Hibs in third look like they're going to rely on beating the champions on Wednesday when Celtic go to Pittodrie, and winning at Tannadice, and hoping Hibs drop points in their 2 final games. Aberdeen effectively 2 results behind if they lose this one. Here's Barron. Somehow got to try and pick up 4 more points than Hibs over the course of the last 2 matches. It looks like a long shot. Here's Czerny, and then moving it out to the left-hand side. Igaman picks up from Jefty. The edge of the box, they're going to get it back to Jefty, who's in here, and it's over the bar. And suddenly Rangers are running amok against a visiting team here. It's been a while since that's been the case. Goal kick Aberdeen, 2-0 Rangers.
Well, I mean, it's fallen on Jefty's right foot, which clearly is just for standing on, looking at the finish. If it had been in his left, put money on it being 3-0. It was a really poor effort, but again, slicing through Aberdeen's defence. Got a wee break of the ball, a wee bit lucky maybe, but then he's got a shot from 16 yards fires it wildly over the bar.
All over the place, Aberdeen. It's quite incredible, and you know, somebody needs to go out there and actually say to both fullbacks, I would suggest, to think about being defenders rather than your first thought going forward. The two centre-backs are totally isolated, and at times they've got 3v2 against them. The gaps between the two centre-backs were being changed. Young Milne's coming on and Jensen's coming on as well.
Devlin
struggled. You know, it's Tobers that's coming off as well. Jack Milne will go on. They had to do something, because if they'd left it, if Jimmy Tillane had left it the way it was, with the defensive four that was being ripped apart, then
he's changed the players, but he's not changed the actual shape of it.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change the shape. But surely to goodness, he's given them instructions to defend. You know, to sit in the space, to help the two centre backs to close the space, and maybe perhaps tell the two sitting midfield players that they've got a defensive job to do as well.
Yeah.
And where is Shayden Morris? Get him on, for goodness sake. Might get a wee bit of excitement going for the Aberdeen fans that have travelled down.
He doesn't seem too concerned with putting him on. He's still with his bib on down below us, as Polvara picks up in the midfield for Aberdeen. His ball forwards cut out by Tavernier. It breaks to Diamonde, to Tavernier, to Raskin. Now it's with Clarkson for Aberdeen. Lobs it forward, but it's going to be cushioned back to his keeper by Jeffrey. Barry Ferguson down there. Looks like he's going to win his first home match in his interim spell.
Well, they have been better in the second half. I wasn't impressed first half. I'm pretty sure he'll told them the same in the changing room, but the change has been pivotal to this second half performance.
McGrath pulls out of the challenge. Raskin comes forward. Now it's with Igaman, who finds Diamonde. Showed a bit too much of it to McGrath, and he's caught him, and he's going to be booked as Diamonde. Although he's hurt himself in the process, as we head towards the final quarter of the game. Rangers 2, Aberdeen 0.
He just took a heavy touch, didn't he, Willie, and then kind of flew into the challenge, and it looks as though he's really struggling.
I'd be worried about McGrath, to be perfectly honest, because that heavy touch and then the straight leg, and listen, he's maybe got a bit on the ball, but the studs. Listen, I hope he's okay, Diamonde. I think there's a wee bit of, I'm staying down just in case I'm going to get a yellow card. There's no doubt that he deserves a yellow card for that, and the good news is Jamie McGrath is up as well.
It was a heavy old tackle after a heavy old touch.
Sports Sound here at Ibrox on BBC Radio Scotland across the frequencies this Sunday afternoon. FM, medium wave, the extra sounds, digital, online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Highlights of this and a look back at yesterday's Premiership matches on Sports Scene this evening. 7:15 on the BBC Scotland TV channel, repeated later on BBC One. And then on Tuesday, live Premiership playoff semi-final, first leg action, Partick Thistle across the other side of the river from here against Livingston. And then
the River Clyde, Liam.
Excellent geography, Stephen. Didn't know you had it in you.
No, you like mentioning the River Clyde.
Do I?
Yes, you do it often in commentary.
All right, okay. I'll have to check back and see how many times I've given it a mention. Here's Nisbet, who tries to shoot from distance, and it's gone wide off. A Rangers player, though. Aberdeen have a corner over there.
Didn't look like it came off a Rangers player, I think.
That's what they're protesting about.
Nisbet was looking for the foul. I don't know if David Dickinson's got that one right, but anyway, Aberdeen have got a corner. I feel as though they'd need to score from here with 20 odd minutes left to try and get back in this game.
Remember, Aberdeen in November, they were 23 points clear of Hibs in the league. They are in arrears of 3 plus the goal difference. They've got 20 odd minutes to try and salvage something from this. They are 2-0 down. Clarkson with an out-swinging right-footed corner into the Rangers box. It comes, it breaks to Polvara, who lashes it high over the bar, leaning back. Little confidence. Goal kick Rangers, 2-0 Rangers. It remains.
Big chance, a big chance, and he is leaning back, unfortunately. He doesn't get himself positioned properly as the ball comes across. I thought maybe Papagay might have been able to get his head on. I don't know.
Seemed to just flash past him. It was weird, wasn't it? But when it falls to Polvara, yeah, he's got to hit the target, really.
I know, but he's a way off balance. It's as though he's not expecting it. He's got to be in his toes, isn't he? He's got to get himself positioned. It comes to him. you can see him. He's falling backwards when he's, you know, driving it with the instep of his foot. But a big chance. You know, you're right. I mean, it's got to hit the target. It's got to test the goalkeeper, and he doesn't. It's a chance, and they really needed that chance, I would suggest, at this moment.
Gay controlling on the chest, running away from goal though, goes back to Clarkson. This ball goes straight off Czerny, and now Egeman. Suddenly Rangers are 4-on-2. Egeman's going to try and slip it through to Czerny. It's blocked by Milne though. We'll break to Jefte, who turns it to Diamonde, and then out to this near side it goes to Tavernier. Back in field for Diamonde, driving into the box, looking for Dessers, cut out by Canusta, who clears with only as far as Egeman, who catches it on the volley and finds the net past Mitov. Wonderful goal from Hamza Egeman. He collected at the edge of the area, just outside the D, took a touch and sweeps it home. And Rangers, who couldn't barely score in 3 months, have managed to find the net 3 times in about 15 minutes here, and it's Aberdeen who are providing them with the opportunity to do that. It is Rangers 3, Aberdeen 0.
Well, let's start with the finish, which is absolutely top draw. He gets the ball fired at him, he takes a touch up into the air, then volleys it 20 yards out into the bottom corner, maybe even off the inside of the post. But the clearance from the Aberdeen defenders, I mean, Willie, one of the greatest Aberdeen defenders of all time, is sitting here watching this Aberdeen team. This second half performance defensively has been abysmal.
Oh, it has, and you know, it's presented to Egeman, and I'm with you. I think it's an absolute magnificent strike from him. He's came on, he's turned the game around, he's been a real handful, and that is a strike of quality. But you know, there's the 3 defenders round that ball, and you know, they can't just. And sometimes you've just got to hoof it up the park. Sometimes you've just got to clear it. You know, I don't know what was going on round about that penalty box there, but the clearance was so poor. It just drops for Egeman, and he does the rest. It's perfect for him. Takes a touch, comes off as a volley, and it's absolutely inch perfect. Might have just saved that post. But it's been dreadful. They've fallen to pieces, absolutely fallen to pieces, Aberdeen at the back, and there's no doubt there that's capable of actually organising defensively, the fullbacks in particular, but the 2 sitting midfield players too. They've just relinquished their defensive roles, and basically they're just leaving the 2 centre-backs to deal with everything.
Yeah, I mean, Aberdeen defend like this in the Scottish Cup final, they can forget about ending that 35-year wait for that trophy. Will be torn asunder, and they've been torn asunder by a Rangers team that's come in for so much flack from their home supporters recently, from their interim manager as well, and Aberdeen giving it away again on the far side as Milne slides in to try and redeem the situation, which he has done. Now it's McGrath, out to Shinnie, Keskinen on the left-hand side of the Rangers box. This game's done though, you would imagine. Keskinen tries to cross in, it's cleared by Suter. It's off Jefte, and he's kept it in play as well with Jensen's challenge, running it back for Aberdeen. Ball forward by Polvara is cut out and back. Polvara with a foul on Raskin. That's a free kick to Rangers on the far side. Yeah, I mean, Willie, they've got Celtic on Wednesday. It's going to be a last throw of the dice with regards to 3rd spot. They'll be hoping St Mirren do them a favour at the same time. Then it goes into the last day. But if they're going to any chance of doing anything in that cup final against Celtic, what's Jimmy Tilleen going to do? What can he do?
Well, you're hoping you're going into the cup final with a little bit of momentum, don't you? And Aberdeen don't have that momentum. Okay, they've got an opportunity with the last 2 games of the season. But the way they've played today, and certainly the way they played against St Mirren, then it's not giving you too much hope that they can actually turn the lack of momentum they've got into a real positive kind of a way to go into a cup final. So it's difficult. It's difficult, Liam.
Here's Egeman at the edge of the box. He shoots. It's blocked. He wanted the glory himself there, but given he'd scored from outside the area a moment ago, fair enough, and he's just done McGrath up like a kipper on the far side. He's in the box here, Egeman, chip ball, he's found Tavernier, who hits it with the outside of the boot, but it's wide of the right-hand post, and it stays Rangers 3, Aberdeen 0. 16 minutes still to play in this one. Rangers are making chances, and the scoreline could get worse for the visitors.
You would imagine they would score again the way it's going, but it was brilliant play from Eagleman out in the left-hand side, flicked it over the defender's head, got it the other side of him, put it kind of chip across to the back post. Tavernier was way off balance as they tried to hit the volley and dragged it wide of the post, but yep.
You know Barry Ferguson well, Stephen.
I do.
The lack of wins here at Ibrox since he took the reins will have been weighing him down.
Oh, massively, absolutely. He'll have been hitting every second of it, and he'll love the fact that he's managed to win this game this afternoon. I think he'll just wish that he managed to win a few more in his short period as interim manager, but this will make him feel a wee bit better.
Yeah, as Barron comes forward, sliding in his shinny, and it's going to break Tavernier's way. Yeah, Michelin would have thought coming here today, when he looked out, empty seats, a Rangers team that's going to be ripped apart in the summer. It's not going to be together for much longer, given such a dreadful season. 7 matches without a win here, 6 games without a win all told. You're not going to get a much better chance, Willie, are you, to get something here, or at least give yourself an opportunity to do so? And in the end, they're being well beaten.
Oh, definitely. Second half, there's only been one team in it, really, and Aberdeen all over the place, which is very concerning. And Rangers playing with their tails up. It's been a good second half performance. The changes that Barry Ferguson made have worked a treat. Aberdeen haven't been able to combat the changes, dealing with the 2 up top and Cherny just sitting off, and the amount of space that Rangers have been afforded been quite incredible, and the goals that they've scored. Listen, the Eagleman goal is something very special, and I think we've got Shayden Morris coming on for
a bit late
these last 15 minutes. I would say late. I would have had him on at half time. I think the whole we bring in Papagay and Nisbet on. I thought Jimmy McGrath was doing what he knows how to play in number 10. So why do you
he was
put
probably
him
one of
out
Aberdeen's best players first half.
Why do you put him out on the right hand side? Get Morris on, put him out on the right hand side, leave Papagay out. Keep the bag on if you want to, and play Nisbet, or play Nisbet just up top and have McGrath off with him. Get Morris and Keskinen. That's the best. That's their best 4 just now at this moment in time.
Rangers have a free kick in from Tavernier. It's flicked half away in the box. Left-hand side is Suter. Prods it back to Barron. McGrath all over him, turns him, rolls it back to Suter. Looks to get the cross in, which he does. Oh, and Dessers was close to getting onto it. Milne flicks it behind for the corner. It is all Rangers here. They lead 3-0 on 77.
Conor Barron's been excellent today, I have to say. His ball win in the middle of the pitch has been brilliant. He's hardly wasted a pass. He's had an excellent game against his own team. Cherny's going to in-swing this one.
From the Rangers' right as they attack the goal to the right. Cherny, we've got Rangers off and running, waiting to bend this in-swinger. To the near post area. It's helped on its way by Eagleman, headed for goal by Raskin. Balogun's header saved over the bar by Mitov. Rangers have another corner.
It's a decent save. It's right over the top of Mitov, though. I would expect him to save that one. But again, a big opportunity for Rangers. Balogun, a decent header. I wouldn't say it was a header that was going to frighten the goalkeeper. I think it makes the goalkeeper look good, actually, by stretching up and punching it over the bar.
Tavernier this time from the Rangers left, right-footed, in on top of the 6-yard box. It's headed away, I think Nisbet, and Barron tries to knock it back towards goal, where it's blocked on the 6-yard line and cleared. A poor touch by Jeffday, and Shinnie fouls him as he knocked the ball away from the Brazilian, and it goes Rangers' way in the centre circle. Nothing going Aberdeen's way at all.
No, it was a poor touch from Jeffday, and if it had been a quicker player than Shinnie and he managed to knock it past him, he was in one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but Shinnie knocked it by him, and then I think just jumped into him because he knew he wasn't getting it the other side.
Or if it was switched on, I think it was Papagay that was to his right-hand side that he could have slipped in. But yeah, I don't think you can complain about that, Graham Shinnie. He's just run into Jeffday.
Morris has come on for Polvara for Aberdeen. Rangers are going to make changes here, and it's going to be a return to the fold of Casemiro, who's been out for months and months and months. Danilo and Lawrence will come on as well, and Balogun and Dessers making way. I think Raskin will come off too. So 11 minutes to play. Rangers make the triple change there. They are 3-0 up and cruising to the 3 points. And Aberdeen are going to have to be a whole lot better on Wednesday when they welcome Celtic to the Granite City, because they're going to probably have to win that game now, and they've not beaten Celtic since 2018.
Yeah, you wouldn't fancy them on the basis of this performance, and I wasn't at the St Mirren game, but Willie said they were poor in that game. In the first half in this game, they did okay, but Rangers weren't anywhere near their best. This second half performance has been poor.
Rangers have it with Suter in the centre circle, with the right foot looking for Jeffrey, cut out by Jensen. Poor touch from Morris, who's just on, allows Bailey Rice to get onto it. It's now back with Liam Kelly, who turns it to his right. Casemiro will fire it out to Tavernier on this near side. Danilo ahead of him, he's got Igaman too. It's a long ball which Mitov goes after and gathers on the right-hand side of his box. We're into the final 10 of the 90 here. Rangers 3, Aberdeen 0. You get post-match reaction from here, and a look back at yesterday between 2 and 3. Willie Miller.
I suppose it's been a bit of a lesson in how not to play in the second half against the Rangers. You know, when Rangers make the changes, you've got to be able to combat the changes, and Aberdeen haven't done that. In fact, they've done the opposite. They've really made it particularly easy for Rangers to take control of this game and won it pretty comfortably.
Czerny wide on the right, away from Gay, breaks to Barron, but he was offside. Free kick goes to Aberdeen. And for Barry Ferguson, Stephen, he won't want the tail end of his interim spell to just peter out. He'll want to back this one up with another couple of victories, and you would imagine he won't be the next permanent Rangers manager, but as permanent as these things are, but you'll want to leave on a positive.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think these 3 last games, has obviously won this one today. Dundee United, who have not been going particularly well post-split fixtures on Wednesday evening, you imagine they would win that. So yeah, I mean, as positive as it can be for Barry, it'd be a nice way for him to sign off.
Keskinen for Aberdeen on this near side, challenged by Tavernier. He, on the slide, gets it back to Shinnie into his own half for Clarkson. Chip ball forward, Gay heads on, but Tavernier heads back to Liam Kelly. The Rangers goalkeeper looking to pick up a clean sheet this afternoon, and but for Keskinen's drive off the post, he's not really been threatened in the second half, has he, Willie?
No, he hasn't. You know, it's been a rather easy game for him. Aberdeen have hardly anything at all in the second half, not too much in the first half as well either, so not a lot to do.
Jensen on the right of the Rangers box finds Morris, and a dreadful looping cross beats everyone and goes behind the other side of the goal frame for a goal kick to Rangers.
Tell you one thing that's a wee bonus is the fact that there's not going to be that much traffic outside when we're looking to leave after the game, because right now in this stadium, I'd say it's what, half full, Willie?
Yeah, it is, and more leaving.
Well, there were plenty didn't turn up at all today. Goal kick here, Liam Kelly takes right-footed chip ball up towards the halfway line.
Bad news is for me, I don't think they'll let the Aberdeen fans out until after the game, do they?
Yeah, you'll be behind the buses on the road back home. Here is Jeffrey on the left, infield to Lawrence, then back out to Czerny on the far side. And Lawrence tripped by Morris, free kick Rangers. Well, goal difference isn't going to come into it because Hibs are so far ahead of Aberdeen in that count. But they're now in a position where if they lose to Celtic and Hibs, well, even if Hibs lose to St Mirren on Wednesday, if they lose to Celtic, third place is done.
It's a big ask now, isn't it? You know, Hibs definitely the favourites to finish in third spot after this performance, and on the back of the performance against St Mirren as well. Doesn't give you much hope.
Czerny with a free kick, Danilo with a header is wide of the right-hand post. Will remain at 3-0 going into the closing stages. Papi Gay picks up on this near side, away from Barron, and then he passes straight to Raskin, or rather Rice, who came off the bench. Raskin coming off, it is Bailey. Rice now, number 49, finds Barron on the near side, then back to Tavernier on the halfway line. Casemiro He looked okay in the early part of the season. Casemiro, he picked up that bad injury and he's been out basically since the early part of the season. Came in from Feyenoord last summer. As Lawrence goes back to Suter. Quick turnaround for Rangers. I mean, the clock's already ticking ahead of next season. They've got a Champions League qualifier to come just beyond the middle part of July. So they're going to have to be up and ready for that. There's obviously this takeover, which is presumably just days away from being announced. They will be in the second qualifying round for the Champions League. One of their opponents could be Brann Bergen of Norway. They'll be unseeded, and there'll be one of Panathinaikos, the runners-up in Austria, runners-up in Switzerland, the Czech Republic. And if they win that, they'll be seeded. In fact, they'll be seeded all the way through the qualifiers. So they've got that in their locker, but it's going to be a long, arduous journey to the Champions League phase if they want to make it back to the top table.
Yeah,
and there's not much time to get ready for it, Stephen.
This is the thing, Liam. They've got so much change is going to happen. Hold on.
A long ball, Lawrence going after it. Looked like him off the hand of Jensen there at the edge of his own box. The ref didn't notice. I think everyone else did. Morris finds McGrath in the centre circle.
If you're looking at a big turnover of players in the summer, you need a manager to do that. A manager, you know, is going to have virtually no time at all to assemble a squad to go straight into Champions League qualifiers. Things need to get moving at Rangers. I think Barry Ferguson said that himself just last week. You know, got to get the ball rolling with a number of things.
Well, it's 70 odd days until they kick that match off, wherever it may be. But they've got the advantage of being seeded in the non-champions route, so they've going to have to try and take advantage of that as they come looking for a fourth goal here. And it's Lawrence rolling it out to the right-hand side of the Aberdeen box for Igaman. Into Danilo, round about the penalty spot on the left foot, he shoots and Mitov saves. He was looking for the bottom right corner. 86 played, it stays Rangers 3, Aberdeen 0.
It's just too easy, isn't it, for Rangers? You know, huge spaces out there just to drive right through the middle, and it's nothing spectacular. It's just 2 or 3 passes right through the middle, so much space. Then Danilo finding a little gap, and Mitov doing pretty good actually. He was heading towards his right hand side. He had to just change course and make the dive to the left to save, but I just think there needs more leadership out there. There needs to be more organisation, more understanding of what it takes to actually come down here. Even though it's a Rangers side that's struggling, it's still a challenge for you, and that challenge hasn't been, you know, nearly closely enough. You know, from an Aberdeen point of view, they've never been near, you know, addressing that challenge.
Morris has it over on that right-hand side. He's going to get the cross in, but Kelly claims the 6-yard area. And 87 minutes have come and gone. Rangers, the last 6, they've drawn 4 of them, lost 2 since Dessers won that dramatic game at Dens Park. The longest run without a win since 05-06, and of course a record-breaking 7 without one here at Ibrox. That's being stopped today, and they could be in for another here. Right-hand side of the box, Tavernier back to Igaman, who shoots, Mitov blocks and holds on in the second attempt. The Czerny looking to get in on the rebound, but there's a flag gone up anyway. Stays Rangers 3, Aberdeen 0.
He's right in front of the goalkeeper as well, Czerny, isn't he? So, you know, and there's no doubt he's offside, but the flag goes up anyway. But again, you know, big space down this Aberdeen left-hand side, and you know, Tavernier exploiting it. Shinnie struggling a little bit at times, I feel, defensively, and his positioning too. But he's not the only one in the Aberdeen team that has struggled this afternoon.
Barron back to Casemiro, and then out to Tavernier on the Rangers' right. Midway inside the Aberdeen half, Igaman back to Casemiro, who finds Rice, and now Suter knocks it forward to Lawrence on the turn. He wins the free kick there off McGrath. Free kick Rangers, yellow card McGrath.
Yeah, it was just a frustration from McGrath there. He got turned well by Lawrence and just grab of his shirt. Very similar position, this one, to the Leighton Clarkson one in the first half. Pretty much exactly.
Feels like a while ago now, that, doesn't it?
It does. It's, yeah, it's for sure. wonder whether Tavernier would fancy this. Lawrence is over it as well, but yeah, good, what, 30 yards out?
Yeah, we've just gone into the 90th minute. Lawrence, Tavernier, Czerny are all standing over the free kick at the moment. Aberdeen with everyone behind it. And it will be Lawrence who goes for goal, and Mitov has to tip it over. Well, it's one of those knuckleball efforts, isn't it, from Lawrence? He got plenty behind it, and Mitov had to tip it over his crossbar, and Rangers have to settle for the corner, though they lead 3-0.
What a strike that was, Willie. I mean, he's really caught that, and yes, Liam's right, it's the old knuckleball. It was moving in the air, and actually in the end it's a decent save from Mitov, because that thing was travelling.
It was, you know, and it was at full stretch, and it was heading towards the back of the net, and it's so strange seeing someone just run up to the ball straight on and striking it so well.
It was the old George Alberts, wasn't it? As Czerny goes for goal at the near post, he forces another save out of Mitov, who knocks it behind for another corner. And apologies if you're offended by any of the language that you might be hearing in the background. Not from us three, I hasten to add. It is a live football match, but apologies if you were offended by anything you heard there.
It's another good save from Mitov.
Here's Czerny, it was a short corner. Czerny shoots, blocked by Papi Gay. Now it's Barron, and now it's Keskinen. And then Morris. Morris trying to get away from a couple of challenges, fouled there by Danilo. In fact, it might have been Suter got the last touch on Morris, and that will be a free kick. It is 3-0 to Rangers.
He's getting booked as well. Didn't look a booking to me, Willie. It's probably a wee bit harsh.
I think Barron before that maybe deserved a booking. I think it was a tug at the jersey, but anyway, he's decided that. I'm with you. I didn't see too much in it, to be perfectly honest, but the referee maybe just thought the combination of the two challenges deserves something at this stage of the game. I don't know why he has to bring the yellow card out.
4 minutes added. We've just actually got to the end of the first of them. Long ball headed away by Casemiro, and then Czerny touches it back to Rice, who moves it out to Jefte on the far side, and infield to Lawrence. Lawrence to Suter, to Rice, and then back it comes to Casemiro. Rangers getting back to winning ways. 2 games to go for them. Dundee United are here on Wednesday, and then they go to Hibs next Saturday. Depending on the outcome of the matches on Wednesday, and Aberdeen are now going to have to beat Celtic for the first time in almost 7 years, almost exactly 7 years. Otherwise, third place is Hibs before Rangers go to Easter Road next weekend. There's Tavernier down the line for Igeman, faced by Knooster. Igeman level with the penalty spot. Now it's with Barron. Barron faced by Keskinen and Clarkson. It breaks to Igeman at the edge of the box from Danilo. Now to Jefte, to Czerny, who shoots, and in it goes for number 4. Czerny caught it with the left foot, left-hand side of the D, and it flashes by Mitov. And Rangers have doubled their goal tally from the last 3 months of home games in one half of football here. Rangers 4, Aberdeen 0.
Excellent play from Rangers in terms of keeping the ball. Started on the right-hand side, 3-4 wee passes, a triangle, knocked out to the left-hand side again. Lovely wee lay back to Czerny. I don't know if it takes a nick in its way. It seemed to go in.
I think it did.
Do you think it did? Yeah, it seemed to go in a strange way. It hits the shot from about 18 yards, and Mitov absolutely furious. I think it was with Keskinen for not getting close enough. He's shouting at him, having a shouting match with him there, but Mitov furious. Again, though, from an Aberdeen point of view.
I mean, they're so passive. They're so passive, right from the ball. It's a really tight area out here with Igeman, you know. And then
checking this goal, by the way, Willie. They think it might have come off a hand on the way in.
Yeah, but it looked as though there was a deflection, Liam.
No, goal stands. Goal stands. So it is 4-0.
Yeah, but way too passive, and spectators. I can understand why Mitov is frustrated and angry, because you know you've got to take a bit of responsibility and understand that there is a danger there, and try to get close to the opposition, and they just didn't do it. And they had plenty of opportunities to do it. You're talking well-worked goal from Rangers. You know, 3, 4, 5 passes and a great strike. But at the same
you've got
time,
to get closer, get contact.
Yeah, exactly.
Here come Rangers again, and Tavernier stretching his legs down the right-hand side up against Shinnie. Challenge comes from Keskinen, but it's with Ikeman, but there's the final whistle, and Aberdeen delighted about that. It's a first win at Ibrox for Rangers since early February. That run began with the Scottish Cup exit at the hands of Queen's Park, whose former manager Callum Davidson is sitting just a few seats along from us ahead of joining the sports scene coverage this evening. 7 games without a win at home, 6 without a win all told since they beat Dundee at Dens. But in the second half here, they've wiped the floor with Aberdeen. Václav Černý getting their first. Dessers then added the second. And then Ikeman and Černý again at the end, helping themselves to goals as well, as Rangers eased to the 3 points, and this has done potentially mortal damage to Aberdeen's hopes of finishing third this season, a position that you thought you could bank them to end in during that run in the early part of the campaign. And they've been put to the sword today, and they now have to beat the champion Celtic on Wednesday. Maybe, depending on what Hibs do in Paisley, a draw would be enough. But they're going to have to defend a whole lot better than they did in the second half here if they're to stand a chance of that. Never mind a chance of lifting the Scottish Cup against the same opponents 13 days from now, because this is a major reality check for those Aberdeen players who are backed by the travelling support as ever today, backed by a travelling support at Hampden of 20,000 after tickets were sold out in just a few hours for that final. But they're going to have to really up the ante from what we saw today. Rangers scored 2 goals at Ibrox in over 3 months. They managed 4 of them in 45 minutes of football here in the second half this afternoon. It finished Rangers 4, Aberdeen 0.
This